Welcome to the Pocatello Business Podcast, the only Pocatello podcast focused on providing profits for Pocatello people. If you love our town and love small business, you are in the right place. We interview local legends, learn business, and have way too much fun doing it. You're listening to the Pocatello Business Podcast with your friend, host, all-around great guy, and owner of New Clean Commercial Cleaning, Spencer Ward.
Okay, we are here again, the Pocatello Business Podcast with Daniel Packard. He is a partner at Cooper Norman, CPA, CFE, CVA. Daniel, say hi a little bit.
Hi.
Now I'm going to continue to introduce him for a minute. So Daniel graduated. Well, first of all, he was an Eagle Scout. We can't bypass that. I can say that as well, but I think I'd rather say my mom's an Eagle Scout.
Yeah, I mean, mine too.
On my behalf. He served an LDS mission in Taiwan. I'm guessing that's where you are now, fluent in Chinese, Mandarin Chinese.
Trying to be, yeah.
Which is awesome. One of the hardest languages in the world. Graduated BYU, Idaho, #1 among all accounting graduates, awarded full academic scholarship there. Pretty cool. Went on to Ohio State. He's a Buckeye. He got the University Fellowship Award. He received the Pace Setter Award. And he also, I think you were also graduated #1 in your class there as well.
Did, yep.
Pretty good, pretty impressive. He is a certified fraud examiner, and along with being an amazing business advisor, helping people acquire businesses, helping them prepping them to sell or run smoothly. Did I miss anything? Did I leave anything out?
You captured it all. Thanks, Spencer.
You are also an accomplished photographer as well, I believe.
I do. I enjoy photography a lot.
Very good. And I heard you're not too bad with the golfing clubs and sticks either. So
it's been a couple years since I've touched them, but there was a time I enjoyed it more than I do now.
Oh, good. Well, we'll have to get out here soon.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Okay. Well, Dan, tell us a little bit about you, yourself, maybe your family, some hobbies.
Yeah. I live here in Rexburg, Idaho, actually. I work primarily in Idaho Falls and Pocatello, though, so I make a daily commute to one of those two locations. Been married for about 13 years. Our hobbies include just really trying to be outdoors, particularly at this time, trying to get fresh air and enjoy hiking and camping and baseball. Son and my daughter are hardcore Giants fans, and so we try to go at least once a year to a Giants game. Really just like a lot of people here in Southeast Idaho, I enjoy the outdoors. I enjoy the community, love the people that I live and work around, and hope to just keep things unchanged as long as humanly possible. I like it.
Well, good. I forgot to mention, he is also my accountant and business advisor. I treat him as my CFO because he is one smart dude. So anyone looking for someone amazing, this is the guy to call. Okay, well, I'm going to ask you a few questions. Let's see what we got here, Dan.
Sounds good.
So when did you realize that you wanted to be an accountant?
When I was in school, I started out as a construction management major, actually, and ironically, it was during a downturn in the real estate market that the economy actually kind of forced me to evaluate different options that I had. My father was CFO of a publicly traded company, actually two publicly traded companies growing up, and so the more attractive and more exciting, I guess, realm of accountancy than I guess your traditional public accounting would be. And so when evaluating an alternative career, I'll admit, probably like many other people, that my father was an influence and an inspiration for the decisions that I made. Took a very different path than he did. He spent time ringing the bell on the New York Stock Exchange. I enjoy my time here in Southeast Idaho. But my zen for forensic accounting that you mentioned and for valuation was motivated by a very specific instance or experience that my father had right around kind of Sarbanes-Oxley and the new requirements that were placed on the executive teams of large publicly traded companies. And so I can trace that decision to a very specific experience in my father's life that we experienced together as a family. So
sure.
It's been in the making for a lifetime, but probably didn't really come to full machination until I was about 22 or 23.
That's very cool. That's very cool. Well, what are some of the common myths about your industry?
Myth number one, I do a lot of the recruiting for our CPA firm, and I think myth number one is that accountants are introverted and that they don't like talking to people. And perhaps there are some that kind of get into the industry with that presumption that they enjoy kind of being in front of a computer by themselves. But I can't think of a more outward, perhaps, profession than public accounting, just because you are asked to be articulate, to be insightful, and with very intelligent business owners. And so I think myth number one is that if you're introverted, you should be a CPA. I think the opposite is true, is that if you're an extrovert, this might be a great profession for you. So myth number one is probably that. And then number two is that perhaps all CPAs are built the same and equal. It just simply isn't the case. I mean, interpretation of law is an art. And I think that just like with anything else, it's wise to probably consider CPAs or your insurance providers, whoever they might be, on maybe a 3-year basis to see if you're being well advised. It doesn't mean you leave that person, but getting second opinions and seeing what other people are thinking. This is a evolving industry, and the law is constantly changing. So interpretation is key.
Well, especially now with the COVID-19 and all of everything is coming out. I'm probably getting a couple emails a week from you guys, just keeping me updated what's going on.
I wish I could get back to prepping tax returns, because right now, you're right, all I'm doing is writing and interpreting law at this point, doing my best to help business owners make good decisions.
And that's great, because I'm sure there's a lot of accountants out there that, and they just dial it in. Let's just beep, boop, boop. Here you go. This is how much you're paying. Out.
Right. You can't, I guess you can't blame the public perception of CPAs being that way, just because I think we see ads of H&R Block and TurboTax and think tax prep is easy. And if you're self-employed, anything but easy. Tax law is designed to, I guess, influence human behavior. And I think the moment you realize that, the moment you realize how fluid tax law is.
Perfect. Well, that's a good thing to segue into my next question. If someone looking in, or someone who's just started their business and are self-employed, what would be the maybe top 3 pieces of advice you would give to them?
It's advice that I adhere to myself. You need a team around you if you're going to be self-employed. And when I took on self-employment myself, I made a good connection with an attorney. I made a good connection with a financial advisor, and I made a good connection with the CPA. Even a business partner that I have here, it's always good to bounce ideas off of them as well. But self-employed individuals, we live in an economic environment right now where really you just can't do it by yourself. The good old days of being able just to open up shop and run a till register at the end of the day and count what you brought in and run to the bank, those days are just over. We live in a highly commoditized world right now where margin is everything, competition is heavy, and the norms are changing every single day. And to pretend like you can do that by yourself, I think is foolish. So self-employed, myself and any other business owner, I think the advisement is build. And then number 2 is don't try to do everything yourself. I think that there's a lot of self-employed individuals in the desire of, trying to maybe save on some costs, some advising fees as well, do their best to try to do a lot of these administrative burdens themselves, relying on someone who can do it efficiently. So my recommendation is build a team and focus on what you're good at. Focus on what makes money.
I like that. And then I like what you just said, focus on what you're good at. And if you're not one of those people that like to look at the numbers every day and enter everything into your books and looking at expenses and the income, which is you still should be looking at regardless, on a regular basis. But if you don't want to do the minute details, hire a bookkeeper. That's
Right.
not you. You don't have time for that kind of thing. But there are great bookkeepers out there that help and assist keeping the books clean for your benefit and for the business owner's benefit. So,
Exactly.
and they're
Exactly.
really not too expensive to hire a bookkeeper, a good one.
Agreed. Yep.
So, okay. Well, what other pitfalls do you see business owners making that you would advise people to look out for? Just in
Yeah.
general, as a business advisor, as an accountant, just in general, what you see.
I hope this observation is understood. Um, Business owners are perhaps some of the most risk tolerant people in the world, and I don't think that they see themselves as such. To be self-employed is a scary venture, particularly when they talk about many self-employed ventures, 70 to 80% of them failing. To be self-employed is to be engaged in perhaps one of the riskiest financial endeavors of your life. And I think weighing your self-employment activities as such, I think is important to understand. And let that also inform maybe just to some extent other investment decisions that you make as well. I guess there's two sides to this coin. When I talk to certain business owners that are saying, hey, I don't know how I feel about this commercial real estate investment. It just feels too risky to me. I laugh inside myself thinking, you bear risks daily that far outweigh a commercial real estate investment. And alternatively, I also see individuals that perhaps don't respect the risks that they take as well on a daily basis and the consequences associated with them. So pitfalls, I think, are just understanding one's own risk profile and letting that risk tolerance motivate good decision making, I think, is maybe pitfall number one. Pitfall number two, I think, segues a little bit into what I had said before, Spencer, is just trying to be the Jack or Jill of all trades, trying to be the person that does everything as a self-employed person, as opposed to delegating. Yeah, I mean, those would be it. For me in my own life, I mean, my pitfalls were probably a bit more intimate than that, quite honestly, as it relates to understanding how partnerships work, understanding what it means to have a partner, understanding that business partnership in many ways is much more demanding than even marriage itself, quite honestly.
Sure.
For things that I think if I had this all to do over again, I wish I would understand better.
That's interesting. I like that. I like that outlook. And there's many times that I've come to Dan with a few things and he's had to slap me around and say, bro, think about it a little bit more. And I'm so thankful for it because he's helped me to understand you got to know your numbers. You got to know what you're getting yourself into. Don't just have an idea that comes to you and think, well, that's an amazing idea and just run with it. No, know your numbers on it. Do your break-even analysis on it. Know your margin on it, and then go for it if everything checks out. So that's been a huge one for me, and I've been grateful for you on that side of things. So,
well, thank you.
So is there any secret sauce that you would impart to people as they're just starting something out or trying to improve their business?
Yeah, I think there's a couple elements, one of which you've alluded to. One is to understand the inputs and the outputs of your business, understand the nature of a fixed versus a variable cost, and understand what it takes to be profitable in your business. And try to break that down all the way down to units, whether that be units sold, volume of customers, whatever it is, break down those goals into digestible, break even, I guess, monthly goals that you can make to say, okay, does this business make sense even in the worst of times? Or does this business model that I've built require perhaps luck to succeed? So number one secret sauce is understanding the variables, the inputs to your revenue cycle, with an emphasis on understanding variable versus fixed expenditures in your business. I think that's if every business owner understood that, it would motivate, I think, great business decision making every single time. Number two is understanding, I think, an audience and understanding the strength of small business owners that we have here in Southeast Idaho. I love what you're doing right here, Spencer, because I think as small business owners, we have a unique opportunity to rely on and to inform one another of things that we learn. There's a lot of self-employed individuals in Southeast Idaho, more per capita than many other areas. We have a lot of self-employed individuals. Some of that is informed by our demographic. But at the end of the day, there's a unique opportunity here for us to find synergy, to find one another, to not isolate ourselves from even individuals that operate within our same industry as well. Advice there would be, build relationships of trust with people that want to see you succeed, and invest in the success of others too. My long-term goal, when I retire, I want to have business partners both inside of Cooper Norman and outside of Cooper Norman. And what I mean by that is I want people like you, Spencer, and I want other clients that I'm as invested in their success as I am in my own. And I think that Southeast Idaho can be the incubator for that happening.
I like that. And I appreciate that as well. So, well, good. I think this has been great. I hope people get a lot out of this episode. I think it's going to be an eye opener for them. But let's go on a few fun questions right now.
Okay.
What is something that you're not very good at?
Phone calls. I hate phone calls. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just I've done so many of them. I got to get to the point where I've enjoyed these video conferences. I feel like they've been better for my emotional well-being. So I'm not good at phone calls. There you go.
That's interesting. That's a good one. Okay, and then since this is the Pocatello Business Podcast, Pocatello Chubbuck, you have to pick something within these. What, especially now, even though with the COVID breaking out, what is your favorite local restaurant to eat at or get takeout from?
In the Pocatello Chubbuck arena?
Yep.
Okay, you're going to have to help me remember the name of it, but I had Thai food at it was Old Town Pocatello, across from where they have that golf simulator. There's a Thai restaurant there. Do you know which one I'm talking about?
I think it's Thai Paradise.
Okay, I love that place.
Okay, that's good. I love it as well. That's a hidden gem within Pocatello.
It is. Yep.
And that's right on. That's right in the heart of the Old Town Pocatello. That's good.
It is. Yep.
Well, cool. Is there anything else I should have asked that I did not?
I think you nailed it, Spencer, like usual.
Well, I know you when you were talking about smart business owners. That didn't include me because I'm not one of the smart ones. But there's some good ones out there, though. So, but I appreciate you being on the show today, Dan. I really think people are going to get some good stuff out of this today. I hope people can benefit from it, and I hope you guys that are listening to it heed this advice. Know your numbers. Surround yourself with a powerful team, and don't do it solo. I think that's what we got out of it today. So anything else you want to say before we end?
Just appreciate it. And a shameless plug here. If anyone wants to reach out to me, you can find me at coopernorman.com or call me at 208-523-0862.
Perfect. Exactly what I wanted to see. So thank you, Dan. You are the man as usual. We appreciate you being on the show, and we hope to have you on the show again later on too. So
thanks, Spencer. Take care.
Congratulations on spending a couple minutes getting just a little bit smarter, having some fun, and supporting the Pocatello business community. If you are feeling the love, make sure to subscribe, rate, and review on iTunes, Stitcher, or wherever you are.